Welcome to episode 200 of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. I'm your host and fellow student, Michelle Nelson, and together we'll learn the basics of home design and construction and demystify the building process so we can build energy-efficient, quality dream homes with or without a general contractor. I thought long and hard about whether I should do a special episode for our 200th show, but I didn't really have any profound ideas, so I decided just to do a regular episode. What I do want to do, though, is sincerely thank you for listening to my little lessons that have helped me learn more about home building, as I've hopefully been teaching you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your kind emails and reviews. Thanks for telling your friends and family about the podcast and for encouraging and supporting me these last several years. My project has been more challenging than most and has had a very slow start. But as we move forward, I'm getting busier and busier. So I may only be able to put out an episode every other week. It just depends on what else is going on. For the weeks that I don't put out a new episode, you might want to listen to some of the episodes that you've missed, or take another listen to shows that you've heard before. I've told you this previously, but even though I've done the research for and recorded these episodes, I need to review them because there's just so much information to know. The other thing I'll tell you to do is to subscribe to the podcast. So new episodes, as soon as they're released, whether that's 2, 3, or 4 times a month, will be added to your podcast library. All right, let's get into this quick lesson. According to residential construction expert Mike Holmes from the show Homes on Homes, quote, "If your garage is attached to your house, the most important thing is to make sure it's sealed. You must keep fumes, exhaust, and carbon monoxide out of the house," end quote. You don't want off-gassing in your garage from your vehicle's exhaust to seep through the garage drywall into the main house. In my house, for example, we're planning on attaching the zip system on the garage wall that connects to the house. Remember, the zip system is a continuous rigid air barrier that significantly decreases unwanted air leakage. That will not only give us greater energy efficiency by decreasing unwanted heat flow, but it also alleviates the chance of fumes seeping into the house. Alternatively, you can go around the garage with a can of low-expanding spray foam and seal all gaps, openings, and cracks. You should not have vents going from your garage to the inside of the house. This might seem obvious, but Mike Holmes said that it's a mistake that's not uncommon. So you definitely want to air seal the garage wall that attaches to the main house. You also want to insulate that wall that's shared by the garage and the house. That wall, although it's inside the garage, should be treated like an exterior wall of the house. Seal it and insulate it because you want to keep unconditioned garage air and uncomfortable temperatures in the garage and not let them in the house. You can use most any type of insulation for the garage wall that connects to the house, from fiberglass bats to cellulose to spray foam insulation. But Mike Holmes suggests closed cell spray foam insulation because not only will it serve to stop unwanted heat flow, but closed cell spray foam insulation also acts as a barrier to stop carbon monoxide from entering the home. In addition to stopping potential garage fumes and unwanted heat or cold from entering the home from the garage, we also want to decrease the chance of a garage fire from entering the home. To do this, install at least a 20-minute fire-rated door between the garage and the inside of the house. This is a requirement of many building codes. But even if it's not a requirement in your area, it's a good idea. And if you live in an area prone to wildfires, you may be required to install a door with an even greater fire rating. That door, by the way, should not have a pet door cut out of it because of potential dangers from fire spread and fumes. And the door should preferably be a self-closing door, just in case you leave the door open while your car is running. If you're going to have a room above the garage, you'll need to insulate the garage ceiling. Otherwise, that room will be uncomfortably cold or hot depending on the time of year. Attached garages are one of the biggest sources of heat loss in a home because of air leakage. Again, you can use almost any kind of insulation you want, but closed cell spray foam insulation is the gold standard. Okay, so we know now that we need to insulate the wall that connects the garage to the house and the garage ceiling only if you're going to have a room above the garage. But should all walls of the garage be insulated? Well, if your garage is heated, then yes, you obviously want to insulate all the walls of the garage. But if your garage is not heated, which most of us won't have heated garages, you don't want to insulate the garage because doing so can cause mildew. But what you do want to do is to get an insulated garage door. You can learn more about insulated garage doors in episode 60 called How to Increase Your Home's Curb Appeal Part 2. Now, finally, if you have a detached garage, you don't have to add insulation at all unless you're adding a finished room above that garage or unless you'll be heating and cooling that detached garage, say if you're using it for a workshop. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you learned as much as I did. And I hope you'll join me again next time for another episode of Build Your House Yourself University. BYHYU. Please remember that the purpose of this podcast is simply to educate and inform. It's not a substitute for professional advice. The information that you hear is based only on the opinions, research, and experiences of my guests and myself. That information might be incomplete, it's subject to change, and it may not apply to your project. In addition, building codes and requirements vary from region to region, so always consult a professional about specific recommendations for your home.